Shalom. I want to start off by saying Kalala Yamla, Yahweh, Basham, Yahushai, Basham, Reka Kodesh. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us the truth and who rule well. Peace and salutations unto the Akim that is spreading on the four corners of the earth, spreading this word in sincerity and in truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect. I'm the brother Kotas Zion from the GMS Holland branch, coming back through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Basham, Yahushai, with another lesson, with another video. And Lord willing, this video is edifying. So I came across some articles and I want to line them up for you and show you its correlation with the prophecies in the Bible. So let me start off with this one. Let me see.
صحبت‌های
So I'm going to read the description. So like, yeah. Let me start off with the title. It says, "No compromise. Iran's flatly rejects Trump's nuclear demand after firing monster missile." So in the description it says, Iran has declared its nuclear policy unchangeable as indirect talks with the U.S. continue. Foreign Ministry spokesman Esmail Bagai stressed Iran's right to peaceful nuclear energy under the NPT. Tehran warned against irrelevant demands in the negotiations, insisting on lifting sanctions. So this shows you that Iran has no plans of backing down with their nuclear capability. You know, they reject what the USA says, you know. So that's one point. Let me see. Let me play a little bit from this clip.
از صحبت‌های سفسطه‌آمیزی که در مورد وجود منابع عظیم فسیلی در ایران و عدم نیاز به انرژی هسته‌ای مطرح میشه واقعاً هیچ مبنای علمی و واقعی نداره. این حق ملت ایران هست که قطعاً موضع ما چارچوب اصولی که بر اساس اون ما وارد گفتگوهای غیر مستقیم با آمریکا شدیم غیر قابل تغییر هست. ما البته در فضای عمومی و فضای رسانه‌ای مذاکره نمی‌کنیم، اما اون چیزی که مشخص هست مواضع اصولی جمهوری اسلامی ایران در رابطه با حق ملت ایران برای استفاده صلح‌آمیز از انرژی هسته‌ای یک موضع ثابت هست، مبتنی بر منطق و حقوق بین‌الملل.
So that's one part. Let me go to the next one. And this is entitled Iran's Monster Qasem Missile to Destroy U.S. THAAD Air Defense. Tehran message to Trump. So in the description it says Iran unveiled its 1200 kilometers per second ballistic missile day after U.S. President Donald Trump sought total dismantlement of Iran's nuclear program. Tehran has claimed that its Qasem Basir missile can breach the American THAAD defense system. Iran's defense minister Aziz Nasser Sadeh told state broadcaster that his country would hit U.S. bases in the region if war was imposed. So this is another show of Iran's power. You know, Iran is not backing down from America. You see. So now, let me play a little part of this clip.
اگر به ما حمله بشه، جنگی به ما تحمیل بشه، ما با قدرت پاسخ خواهیم داد. ما منافع اونا رو، پایگاه‌های اونا رو مورد حمله قرار خواهیم داد و در این راستا هیچ ملاحظه‌ای و هیچ محدودیتی قائل نیستیم. ما با کشورهای همسایه هیچ گونه خصومتی نداریم، برادران ما هستند، اما پایگاه‌های آمریکایی اهداف ما هستند.
Times of India videos, your daily dose of India and the world. Global news, different views, and sharp analysis.
Pressure of expectation from your fans, your supporters.
That is often served as a backdrop for several Bollywood.
You're not a brute majority anymore. If you individually take out Tera,
Making sense of global conflicts. Tracking the new emerging world order.
strike on Israeli military bases.
A multi-pronged
to stay out of harm's way as Israel started bombing targets across.
Understanding changing alliances in a polarized world. Tune into TOI videos for all this and more. Click on the bell icon to subscribe and never miss an update.
So let me go to this article right here where it states Putin stuns Trump with Iran nuclear declaration Russia declares open support to fair nuke. And what's the fair nuke? The fair nuke is the nukes that Iran was showing off and was telling America about, that how they're not gonna, condone or have war imposed on them. They're not going to back down, you see. So the Russian President Vladimir Putin called Iranian President Pezeshkian to express support for a fair and lawful nuclear deal between Iran and the United States. Amid rising tensions and threats from Washington, Moscow said it is ready to facilitate diplomatic progress and wants a resolution based on mutual respect. The conversation comes as the fourth round of talks, initially planned in Rome, was postponed, with Muscat now reportedly confirmed as the next venue. Iran reaffirmed its right to enrich uranium under international law and dismissed U.S. suggestions to import nuclear material. Tensions remain high as the U.S. administration warns of military options if no agreement is reached. Russia. You see? So Russia says that it has Iran's back, and America, they are putting pressure upon Iran, that they're not supposed to have nuclear capability, but it's all within fair use, like it says. But Iran is showing America also that, they're using nuclear missiles that can surpass their THAAD, so actually they are showing off, and America actually wants to put a lid on it. America wants to put a cap on them, so that they can't surpass a certain capability. But now, America, in this article, it says U.S. withdraws as mediator in Ukraine-Russia war. Why? Because it doesn't want to irritate Russia even more, because now that Russia has Iran's back, and if America is going to irritate, quote unquote, irritate Russia with their meddling in the war from Russia and Ukraine, then it's going to, provoke Russia even more. So this is a strategic move from America to back down out of the Russian and Ukrainian war, so that they can focus on Iran right now, because Iran is showing off their ballistic capability. You see? So let me read it. This says, the U.S. announced on May 1st that it will no longer lead negotiations in the Ukraine-Russia war, shifting responsibility to Kyiv and Moscow to resolve the conflict. The decision follows months of stalled talks, unmet demands for peace proposals, and a recent surge in violence, including a major Russian missile strike on Kyiv. Vice President J.D. Vance stated the war is in a stalemate, and that the U.S. won't waste further political capital on unproductive talks, urging both sides to compromise. The Trump administration is prioritizing U.S. Domestic issues and expects Europe to take a larger role in regional security, reducing America's diplomatic involvement abroad. Wow. So this is how they want to play it. America, they wants to, look like they are taking a back seat. They're fleeing the scene, or they don't want to have any part of this, and they want Europe to resolve this. But meanwhile, we know that Europe, which is the NATO, that is being steered by America, even though it looks like America is withdrawing itself right now, but we know that they are steering the show. Let me see. This is Revelation 17 and 15. And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. So you have the whore that sits on the beast, which the beast is the NATO and the EU, and Russia and Ukraine. What are they? They are surrounded by NATO and EU countries. So the whore, which is upon the beast, which is the NATO and the EU, they are steering the beast. So America is steering the NATO and the EU, even though it looks like they're withdrawing right now, but still they have the power to steer the NATO and the EU. You see, and how you call it? The beast was upon waters, which the waters they represent the people and the multitudes and the nations. You see. So now, America, it looks like they're withdrawing, but they are the ones that are steering the NATO and the EU, like the scripture states. You see? So let me read on. It says, with no clear mediator to replace the US, Ukraine, and Russia face, though chooses continued fighting to concessions while global powers watch for signs of resolution. The US, the United States, is stepping back from its role as a mediator in the Ukraine-Russia war, marking a significant shift in diplomatic strategy. On May 1st, the State Department confirmed that Washington will no longer lead negotiations, instead urging both sides to take responsibility for ending the brutal conflicts. Vice President J.D. Vance delivered a sobering assessment, declaring the war is unlikely to end soon, while State Department spokesman Tammy Bruce emphasized that the U.S. will not fly around the world to broker talks. But that's all they did. As soon as America, the United States, which is Babylon the Great, sees their chance, they would fly around the world, sticking their nose where it doesn't belong. But now all of a sudden they don't want to be partaker of that. So it says the decision follows months of failed diplomacy, escalating violence, and unmet demands for concrete peace proposals, leaving Ukraine and Russia at a crossroads. Yeah, man, but like I said earlier, this is a strategic move from America not to provoke Russia even more, because America is now focused, the US is now focused on Iran, with their nuclear capability, and Russia is backing up Iran even more right now. So if America focuses their energy on Iran and on the Ukrainian war between Russia, then they are provoking Russia from both sides. So now they are backing down from the Russia-Ukrainian war, and they're going to focus on, believe you me, they're going to focus on the Iran conflict that they have right now. And what does the scripture say? If we go to Ezekiel 38, let me start at verse 1. And it says, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him. And the land of Gog and Magog, that is speaking about Russia, that region of Russia right now, because back in the day, Europe would belong to Japhet, and Gog and Magog are two sons of Japhet that used to rule that regime right there, where Russia is right now. So now Japhet has been pushed out of Europe, and now Esau, the so-called white man, which are the Russians also, they are now inhabiting that land. So Russia is now the land of Gog and Magog. So Ezekiel was prophesying against that land because he was seeing that the tensions were in that area, that it came from the Russian part of the world. But back then it wasn't Russia called Russia. It was called the land of Gog and Magog. So now, reading on, it says, and say, thus said Yahweh power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks in thy jaw, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. So now, the turning back that the Most High is going to do is that now you see that Russia and America, they're going at it, but Russia doesn't really want to, engage into war. He's just there for his defense. He's defending his perimeters, his borders. He's defending his country. He's defending certain other countries also, but he's not provoking anything. But what does the Most High say? He said he's going to put hooks in the jaw of Gog and Magog, which is Russia, and he's going to turn him back. So the Most High is going to change the president's mind, which now it's Putin. He's going to change the president's mind to invoke and provoke war onto America, which is the land of the North in this chapter. So they are going to have war. That's what it means, that horses and horsemen and all type of armor and a great company of bucklers and shields. So there's going to be a all-out war, military war and a nuclear war. So it says, verse 5, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with their shield and helmet. And Persia is nowadays called Iran. So that's why, Persia, Ethiopia, Libya, they are called in this verse because they are all band together. Why do I say that? Reading on, it says, Gomer and all his bands and the house of Togarma of the north quarters. And Gomer and Togarma, that's Turkey, and the region and all the regions over there. Turkey and that region is also going to join, is also joined onto Russia right now. And all his bands and many people with thee. Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. And to be a guard unto them, what does that mean? To protect them. And who's the protector? Russia. Russia is the big bad wolf that is protecting these countries, that are not part of the EU, but do live in Europe, or near Europe. So that's why America, they are going to come against Russia or one of his, one of his allied countries, and that's going to spark World War III, you see? So now America is focusing upon Persia, which Persia is Iran, because all these countries, they're going to have nuclear capability. They're going to be allied with Russia, which is called Gog and Magog in the scriptures. And that's going to be the beginning of World War III, you see? So those are the things that I came across when I was reading and looking around in these articles. And this scripture sparked into my mind, that they are going to be band together or guarded by Russia, and they are all going to provoke Russia onto war, which the day that I mean is America. America is going to provoke Russia onto war by, harassing the allied countries, or maybe even going to Russia straight on, But the Most High, he's going to put hooks in Russia's jaw to bring forth that destruction, man. So that the Most High can bring forth his wrath and indignation upon the earth. Because what is going to happen? The Most High is going to snatch these missiles that are going to be fired. the intercontinental ballistic missiles. He's going to snatch them and he's going to throw them, you know, where they need to go, which is in America, Babylon the Great, you know. So with that, I hope this video is edifying. And I want to say Kal Halal Yamla, Yahweh, Basham, Yahushai, Basham Merkah Kodash, Shalom Akim.